Chavar Dontae, how you doing today, brother?
Great. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for taking some time to chop shop with me and share with audiences a little bit about who you are, backstory. I really want to dive into the music side for one, but I also want to jump into the you side of things because when I got to checking out some of your music, it got me thinking, you know what? He might fall into this particular space where a lot of people do, where a lot of people know who they are. They know him as an artist, but do they really know him as a person? And that's what really like was hitting me and that I want to try to tap into here today in the short time that we got together. So I appreciate you a ton.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, before we dive into kind of the new record, let's talk about your journey from the Midwest to LA. I also want to tap in kind of to your Brazilian roots and how that molded you and helped shape the genre-defying person that you are today. Coming up from what was it called? I want to say Saginaw, but it's not just Saginaw. It's called what? Sagnasty, I hear that it's called.
Nasty.
Nice. Well, hey, catch me up a little bit on your Midwest roots and kind of how that helped shape who you are today.
Well, yeah. So I'm originally from Saginaw, Michigan, but I grew up equally in Saginaw and in Toledo. And by equally, I mean early years, first few early years in Saginaw, then Toledo, like by the three and a half. Um, my dad is in the military, so then we lived in Texas, but we always came back to Saginaw. So I've lived
Mhm.
all over the place, Saginaw and also Toledo. And in the Toledo area, I always went to the same school district too. So like half of kindergarten, first through second grade in Saginaw, half of third grade in Toledo, half in Saginaw, half of fourth in Toledo area, half in Saginaw. Fifth grade, same thing. Sixth grade, Toledo area. Seventh grade, Saginaw.
You couldn't
Eighth,
get away.
yeah, in Toledo area. 11th in Saginaw. Senior year in Toledo. Then I went to music school in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Okay.
Um, and then, like really musically, I started playing in Toledo on that scene, even though I was inspired and influenced by all of the Detroit and the Michigan history of electronic music, rock music, soul music, just all kind, everything you could think of. I was inspired by all this mashup of different genres. And growing up, I didn't even really understand that there was a distinction. I just knew I
Mhm.
liked a lot of different stuff. If it was good to me, it was cool. So,
Mhm.
um, and then following, I was a jazz and classical major, but mainly jazz guitar, in in college. And after that, I kind of started my journey as a songwriter, and that which led me to Los Angeles. So.
Yeah.
Which has been, and I to this day I'm there. I split time between there and this is my Toledo, Ohio studio. Actually, I just moved into, um, but yeah, it's been. That's a quick introduction, but there's
Mhm.
a lot of layers to this onion for
Yeah,
for sure.
no doubt. I'm sure there is. Yeah. Well, let's try to peel back a couple of these because I'm
Yeah,
really curious about the fact that you did study jazz and classical music and really how that influenced you as a writer, and not just now that you're in LA, but kind of leading up into that point to making that kind of a jump.
yeah. Well, I think one of the main things is. It really opened me up to styles of music that I maybe would have never listened to, like in depth.
Mm,
And it categorically, and I think on a molecular level, changed how I even listen to music. And
really?
my my makeup as a person, like hearing an orchestra with all of these pieces and being able to play in a concert band and being able to play in big band and hearing and write for and orchestrate for that many pieces and have arrangements played by that many people and just hearing Like it actually, like how I do my preliminary mixes, it changes how I even spatially put instruments in the mix because I want to hear,
Mm,
like I can imagine like woodwinds and like strings and like timpani, like spread out over the spectrum. So in my
mm,
mind, whether it be electronic instrument or uh, an acoustic instrument, I'm like always searching for how can I make this thing feel like those first experiences of hearing a a lot of musicians playing their parts and this how it touches you and on a molecular level, I feel like. So, but
yeah.
yeah, like so my whole approach to it, I feel like ended up being non-conventional for more mainstream music for sure.
Hmm. It also kind of tells me that you tend to look at things maybe in a multifaceted approach where you got layers to this, as you mentioned. It's not a one-dimensional thing where you're piecing together a track. You got, your bass line, you get your drum line, you got your hook, you got those pieces that everybody might think of, but you're looking for the nuances within a piece of music and how you can orchestrate that to best hit a listener is what I'm kind of catching from you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think ultimately I want to feel something
Hmm.
and I want the listener, whoever this is for, I want them to feel something too, whatever that is. I can't control what that is, but
Yeah.
um, I know I can't be the only person that's feeling something from it. It's a big world out here,
Right.
So, and that's really the my main motivation because I feel it's multi-dimensional. Like, and I hope when people listen, maybe the fifth listen they hear something else they might not have heard the first time through, or maybe it's a meaning in a lyric, or maybe it's you hear this instrument tucked away if you're listening on headphones or like on
Right.
stereo speakers. I know we listen on phones too quite a bit,
Mm,
but yeah, so that's always my hope because it is dimensional, and hopefully standing the test of time that you're going to be able to find something in a year in the music that maybe you didn't hear poking
mm.
through. So
Absolutely. Well, and as you're growing as an artist, I'm sure that you're finding new ways to weave in sounds and melodies and, timing that allow somebody to hear something 5 years later that they would never have heard you because you've developed so differently.
yeah, for sure. And I try to just let myself be free to let that be what it's going to be and what it is, and let myself evolve and not worry about specific fitting in one specific genre, because
Yeah.
as a person I've never felt like I just fit into one specific box.
Hmm.
And that was a thing kind of early on. It was like, oh well, what genre is this? You got to categorize because we don't know where to, no one's going to know where to put it.
Hmm.
And it's
Right.
like, I don't know what it is. Maybe my mission is just to be, like Bruce Lee, like, like water, like
Hmm.
it just is what it is. And not like in a pretentious way, just being who I am and letting that be okay. So
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like to draw comparisons, especially in this realm. We're talking about music and artistry because I think every person's unique and they're different and they have abilities that are very unique to them and the ability to express that.
yeah.
Um, but it's obvious that, and it's natural, I should say, too, for us to draw influence from other people. And I know, some of those for you, I seen was, guys like Prince and Jimi Hendrix and Michael Jackson, Radiohead, Gnarls Barkley, and then one of the ones that I didn't catch listed anywhere, but what I heard when I heard one of your tracks was Lenny Kravitz. I don't know if you ever heard that either. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've definitely heard that for sure.
heavy. So you got this kind of melting pot of influences over time, and how would you say that? those particular influences have, I don't want to say helped shape what you are, but influenced you, right? They've kind of done something to allow you to fuse your own sound while drawing inspiration from people that have gone before you.
Yeah, and I definitely pay homage to all of them, like Phil Collins too, like
Mhm.
Genesis, like visually, like, and a lot of this is visual, not just sonically, like,
Yeah.
but they've all had their unique thing, and I can hear influences from them and other people too, So, um, but it just really more so inspired me to just be myself and like let all those influences. um it's like a pot of chili, we could all make our own thing, and it might just have, my pot of chili might have a little bit of something in it, yours might have a little
Mhm.
bit, and it's still delicious. So
Yeah.
I'm like taking my brand of it and like, um and putting those ingredients in, and I'm not trying to be them, but I'm not denying their
Mhm.
impact on my life. But um like that movie Purple Rain, just
Mhm.
seeing these cats, men and women, all different backgrounds, all playing
Mhm.
together and like just having like
Mhm.
killer style, and like, which, um Minneapolis too, and it's not New York and it wasn't LA, so
Right.
um it was more of a middle of America thing, so that was like a thing for me too, like learning Hendrix's Nashville roots, like,
Mhm.
well, not, he wasn't born there, but
Right.
he lived there, for a
Mhm.
while playing music and all of that. But just seeing these cats' journeys was an inspiration too, just even outside of the music. And I feel like just our journey, our struggles, our milestones, and all of that, like shape who we are too. On the
Mhm.
on this, I call it a beautiful path and beautiful journey, but it's filled with heartache
Mhm.
and milestones. But the heartache makes, it makes the
Makes a
journey
good
even
song.
that much sweeter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Well, and in that lane there, I mean, I want to talk about your songwriting processes there as well, because you know you've described your songwriting process of kind of encompassing honest themes about life, but they also have these strong melodies, but you're really trying to capture things that people actually go through, and I want to talk to you about that, about like what's your songwriting process for constructing something.
Okay, and I would like to say that I don't have one per se, but I mean, with saying that, it's kind of developed into like this thing. So,
Yeah.
um, this okay. So, like, I'm gonna start with one of the songs. I'll start with "Rain," the chorus of "Rain." Now, heard that chorus. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was in Corpus Christi, Texas, playing shows and working on music, at my friend I work with to this day in LA now, but he was in Corpus Christi at the time, his studio. And I just woke up in the middle of the night and recorded that chorus
Hmm.
and guitar part. And it just sat for, I don't even know, a decade.
Oh,
It
really?
just sat there. Yeah. And then I heard the verses and the chords for the verses, um, the week, the last week of December. So I finished all of these songs in the last week of December and New Year's Day. I'll be fine.
Mhm.
But that one I started with a chorus. So I feel like I'm just hearing, like, I feel like I'm not writing. I have a degree in music, all that stuff. But I feel like I'm hearing something and I'm just able to hear it. And I'm just
Mhm.
able to harness this thing in this spiritual realm that I'm just able to capture. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. Mhm.
And and even the solo, like it was like a one kind of take thing, like, but that's like the basis of it. But as I'm tracking it, like I'll record the chorus. I try to do this stuff like I try to just do a full take of everything. And there's this thing called comping vocals where you can just go in like down to the syllable. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I just want it to be as honest and capture the emotion as soon as I'm writing it. Like I still write on paper. Some of the stuff I wrote on iPad too for this book that I'm kind of working on for with lyrics and that. But I hear the melody, capture the melody, hear the lyrics. I don't force anything, and I just let it be what it's going to be, and then I might tweak a word or so here, but usually and most of the time I'll hear the words and the melody at the same time for the most part. So, and some of the songs now I'm constantly working on stuff. So I'll use my voice memos now, which I love technology because I might wake up and just like record a melody of something and and go back to like voice memo number 688. But the odd thing is usually the very first thing I record is what it ends up being. Like I'll go back and listen to them like before I finish the lyrics, because sometimes I'll just mumble it. If I don't have all the words, I might have most of the words, right? And then I'll just kind of mumble the melody, but the melody is there, and then I'll come back and finish them. But some of the songs I started with the track, All White M1 in LA, I started with part of the track, and then I just heard it and finished all of it like in one day. It was just like all of them were like this time. Like I'll Be Fine was, I heard something that I recorded and a guitar part, and then it just became something else. I wrote that on New Year's Day this year, so like The Remedy, I worked with a buddy of mine in France, Mike Moon Knight, and we worked on the production. He sent me some stuff, and then I had to replay the bass and all of that, and then I just wrote to it, and I just had this theme about it. So normally it happens really quick for me. Like once I get, but I don't rush it. Like I just let the inspiration come, and then if I need to work on something else, I'll just work on something else. But I try not to force anything, and I just try to put myself in a position to just be in a space where I feel like I can concentrate and hear. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you 100%. Thank you for sharing that. Along those lines, I want to kind of parlay into, because I was going to ask you about Rain, and so you already elaborated on that for me, but it also brings me back to Too Much. And as I alluded to early on, confronting fame and isolation. And I want to talk about that, about, boundaries that you might set to kind of stay true to yourself, and how has increasing visibility from your music affected you mentally, health-wise, etc.?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in particular, the mental health aspect of it, because I feel like in the Midwest in particular, it's more of a recent phenomenon to even be able to talk about, openly talk about it. Especially like as a male kind of growing up, it's like show no emotion, never let them see you sweat, like kind of a thing. And it's like, it is a real thing. Just pursuing something that's outside of the ordinary already has a lot of stresses that go with it, because it feels like 1 minute you're trying to defend the energy that you're putting into a non-conventional route, and then the next thing you can feel like, well, people only want to come around you only because of what you have to offer, or what they think you have to offer, right? So Um, but yeah, it's I think trying to protect your energy and trying to have some kind of filter and discernment on who has like positive energy towards you as a human being, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a passion for anyone that is serious about whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean that from construction to like, I don't care what it is, because I just connect with people that are passionate about what they love,
Yeah.
whether they be a professional or hobbyist, you know. So
Mm.
I like to surround myself around that sort of stuff. But it is like a real thing to be careful of the company that you keep and not be to try not to allow myself to be in situations and transactional relationships, you know,
Mm-hmm.
things that feel only transactional, because I feel like life is so short and the connections mean something to me, you know. So
Mm.
um I just appreciate all of the we could be doing anything in life, so I appreciate all of the things. So like this interview, I'm just very appreciative that you want to talk to me about my music. Like that's
Mm.
like that's another dream come true to me. Like, so
Mm.
I'm just thankful for all those moments, and I'm just like extra careful about trying to be in those kind of spaces and not clout goblin spaces.
Yeah, I get I get you. It, it reminds me of the old adage. It's like Mama used to say, right? Like, watch out for Johnny. Watch your company that you keep.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah, for
and
sure. And
and
you
it
know,
really is.
and there's so much beauty in some of the most simple things, you know. Like
Hmm.
I on an aside, like I like to get coffee. Like I'm just like I like to chill. If I'm not doing music stuff, I feel like I'm always doing music though, like in the
Hmm.
background, but I like to go to cafes and just chill and sip espresso and tea, you know. And um I bought this vintage road bike that I've been kind of working on just to ride to cafes and get sip espresso. but there's just so much beauty and so many simple little things, and checking out music and all of that stuff. There's so much that I just try to stay in that lane and try to like not let the negativity and the jaded part of the industry like have its grips on me, on my mentality, and because it is like a mental health thing for sure, because there's like this comparison thing with social
Right.
media and all of this stuff too. And I don't want to, I'm only in competition with my own, the fulfilling my own potential, that's
Right.
it.
Right.
That's what I want to do. And I want to share beautiful things with the universe, that's it, man.
That's good insight. That's great perspective too. Because yeah, we live in a highly competitive uh, world today, and not that it hasn't always been, but I think it's just amplified with what everybody else is doing because of technology and social. That people have a tendency to compare themselves to whatever they see, whatever they have a desire for, not realizing that you have innate potential in yourself as well. Your goal is to draw it out or to get around those people that can help you draw it out so that you can walk in it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah. So let me ask you about some of the opportunities that you've also had in this walk, because you've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah.
It's not your first rodeo. You've had opportunities to perform alongside legends like Pat Benatar, Billie Eilish, and others. Right? Like, what has being able to, whether opening up for an artist or interacting with some of these people because you've been running in a similar lane, how's that impacted you as a person, and how you even do your own live shows today?
I've learned quite a bit. And another thing in that lane I've been able to do, my friend Dylan, they have well, even before, he's got this company. He's an engineer, great engineer, and he's got a company that does backline and playback for big acts. So I've been able to see just as a guest behind the scenes of some of the biggest tours. And it really early on in particular showed me that things are possible that seem impossible.
Mm,
And it made me step up everything. And one of the main things, and I always talk to people about this, is like one of the first main things that I could do was step up my merchandise game
mm,
and make sure, I don't care if it's 5 people there or
mhm,
50,000, that I'm going to have my full setup, and I don't
mm,
care how long it takes, because um and not just monetarily, but it's also giving people the opportunity to take the music home beyond a moment, because
mhm.
you don't know who they're going to share it with. And a lot of things that's
Right,
happened is because of somebody, word of mouth, someone
right.
told someone. That was one of the biggest things for me. But also um, just getting, there's a lot of back end stuff. Like for me, like as a band leader too, it helped me really get stuff to make the musicians that play with me feel more confident and successful, like using my music background to write out charts for everyone so they can learn the music. Well, like
Mm,
coming up, it's typically you just have to learn the music. That's
right.
it. That's the standard. You just listen to it. And I think you should do that. But those little extra things, having all the charts written out so it's easy for someone to come into a role and learn all of the music, and have it in a playlist for them so they can listen to it, have the
Mhm.
charts there, learn the music. But the business side of it, like I really saw and learned that no, this is a business. Like you are a small business. So on that
Mhm.
side of it, um, like I just learned to embrace that part of it, and it really made a difference, that you do have to work at it. If you want opportunities,
Absolutely.
you can't just expect them to fall out of the sky. Like I submit music every single day, so
Mm,
looking for opportunities that I think my music will fit, or to reach audiences, because I just love this so much that I would be doing this regardless.
mhm.
So I might as well like put my all into
Yeah.
it. But and there's also, I'm always inspired though. There's stuff that I want to do. Like I'm always inspired. Like um I see these sets. I've always wanted to have this giant arcade set, like
Mm,
that's moving around and like changing from like different eras, like
mm,
video games. And there's just all these. I have all these ideas, and it's like maybe today I can't do it at the level that I ultimately see, but I just work on taking a step, adding pieces to it at a time,
mhm.
and just trying to be creative and have as much fun and create experiences. And that's one of
Mm,
the things that I really saw, that it, on the highest level, it's really, the music's already got to be something, right? So beyond that, it's creating an experience, because people could be doing anything,
right.
so, and the fact that someone would come and see you, I'm gonna have cool merch available for them to have, and like I want them to have feel a real connection in the show too. So that's really what I learned from watching these things and being able to open up and stuff like that.
That's awesome. With too much out in the world already, where do you see things heading next? Not just from a sonic perspective, from what you're constructing from music, but even back to what we have just been talking about in how you create experiences for people that are listening to your music, whether that's live, whether that's in person, whether that's that book that you're going to write and people get to see another side of you and understand who you are on a different scale. What's the future looking like? for yourself?
Yeah, I see it as very, very, very bright, like forever summer kind of a future.
That a boy. Here we go.
But there's for the next couple years, my goal is to get on some, I don't want to say big festivals, but they are like some more higher profile festivals. I want to play on some international festivals, and I'm working towards that. But really, I want to, the grand scheme of things, I'm like into film and that too. So I'm working on some cool live performance sort of videos and really dope settings. And like, so I'm trying to create this interactive, even on my website and that too, which is in process, and creating unique experiences from people that are really into the music. Like now I'm getting the audio back from a show we just did, and I'm working on making that available through the website for people that are really into it. And they'll have access. It's not going to be, there might be a clip online, but this will be for people to have access to it, so that sort of stuff, just creating not only for the people that get to experience a show per se, but maybe people can't, or maybe people are in other parts of the world. And the touring industry, I know when people think world tour, they think every country, but it's not really that. It's like Europe, if you get to go to Japan, like a few countries, and Asia, Australia, it's not every country, so trying to create that experience for people that follow my music in other spaces too, so they can kind of have some kind of immersive, non-surface level interaction, because I don't want it to be like, hey, go stream my music. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I want you to enjoy the music, but I also want you to have an experience like with it live too, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's making me think that where you're growing right now and expanding as an artist is kind of challenging you to think beyond what we've typically known as an experience for somebody to engage with an artist. And so, the live set stuff, I noticed that in your website with the shapes and the colors and the way that you're piecing stuff together. I can tell that you're trying to connect with people on a different level. And so I can envision what you're talking about, that you're thinking globally and you're thinking the word you used earlier, I think it was interdimensionally almost, right? Like you're
Yeah,
thinking different
yeah.
layers.
Oh, I
Love it.
appreciate that, man. And I've got to give a shout out to Steph. His handle was Trippy Steph. So we work on all the artwork together. So I might sketch up something, send him like a storyboard, and then he'll just like do his thing. He's got a unique style, and we've been working together for, wow, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. So like, but all of that matters. The artwork, I care about all of that, so I wanted to reflect. And a quick aside, like the artwork for the single artwork for Too Much and the acoustic, I had a vision. I envisioned myself playing at Sphere in Las Vegas. So that's what that artwork is, the stage and the heads, and then the background is that's like my vision, is to have all this artwork in that space and like have all this moving stuff. So hopefully that can become a reality too. But that's the background of that. So all of this stuff comes like from the vision of all of this stuff happening, being on that giant screen in there, like during the show.
Yeah, that's what's up. Shavar, let's give yourself a plug too. Where can people find you at if they're checking you out right now and they're like, hey, I like this cat, I like his personality, I want to check him out. Where do they find you?
You can find me. So my website, ChavarDontae.com, ChavarDontae, and at Chavar Dontae everywhere. So very simple. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, All of them, you can find me. I even have like a lemonade somehow, which I don't.
You're like, why not? That's what's up. Well, Chavar, it's been a pleasure having you on deck with me today. Thank you so much for joining me, brother.
Man, thank you so much, and hopefully we can do it again someday. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you.